Yes, that is the new Tata H2X concept. It is a small subcompact micro SUV, and yes, it's a concept now, but it will hit production in 2020. Very exciting times at Tata Motors, of course, of late, and so it's no surprise to see yet another show-stopping concept car coming from the company here at Geneva. H2X is the name of the concept, but unlike the H5X or the H7X, the 2 has nothing to do with seating capacity. As you can see, this car can seat 5 people. Sorry about my shadow. And extremely futuristic styling in terms of the interior. Very young and stylish too. A big screen which is split into two. There are the virtual cluster and the infotainment end of it. And of course, while I do think a lot of this will make it to production, I don't think that steering wheel will, for sure. But having said that, the use of color and interesting materials abounds in this concept. In terms of styling, you're seeing Impact 2.0 continuing, so very sharp and a lot of use of LED elements. We also look pretty sharp and nice, don't they? So extremely encouraging to see all of this from Tata Motors. The car that sort of got everybody starting to talk about Tata in a different way, the Harrier, is branded Buzzard here, Buzzard Sport, I should say, for Europe, and it's being shown here as the Buzzard Sport. So that's a car we know quite well, so I'm not going to dwell too much on it. But here are the other new cars. The Altroz is the new premium hatchback from Tata Motors. This is the electric version, and yes, this is the production version we are seeing here. This car will come to the market in 2020 as well, or in fact later this year. Let me correct myself. It will be in the market by the end of this year, and by that of course I mean the Indian market. So that's the Altroz. Another quick look at the H2X. That is absolutely stunning, isn't it? Look at that. You definitely pick up cues of the big brother there, and make no mistake, the next generation Nexon will sit between this and that car. And then you've got the other end of the SUV family, the Buzzard, which is well, a name right now which is only for the Geneva debut, will not necessarily be the name of the car when it launches in India. And the Buzzard looks like the Harrier because, yes, like the Harrier, which is the Buzzard Sport, and that's because this is the 7-seater version of the Harrier. This also will launch very soon in India, and in fact it's just a matter of weeks now, not even months, where you will see this car arrive in India. So longer wheelbase, and there you go, that's the third row. See if I can push that up. Okay, managed to get one seat up. So decent amount of space for the third row, and the rest of it of course familiar territory in terms of what you've seen on the Harrier, so I won't take too much more time on this one. But said, nice roof rail. But like I said, Buzzard for now. Quick look at the Chairman Emeritus, Mr. Ratan Tata, and Mr. Chandrasekharan, the current Tata Group Chairman as well. They've just had a walk around and looked at the cars as well. And hi everyone, all of you who are joining. It's a lot of bright lights here, so I can't see all your messages just yet. But thank you for joining me. That's the Altroz. That's the premium hatchback. The Altroz, it will take on the i20, the Baleno, and this car again coming to the market in just a few weeks' time. This will be the next big launch from Tata this year. Besides, of course, the 7-seater Harrier, which will get a different name for the Indian market. Now, the Altroz looking very much like the 45X concept, same color as well as what we saw on that concept car. Nice blacked out lights. Again, the whole look being sort of carried across from the SUVs in terms of having that large light element in the bumper. And all right, let's take you inside now. Inside too, the styling is very distinct, very different, and you can see that there's a use of different kind of surfaces. You've seen that on the Nexon to a certain extent, and now you're kind of seeing it on this one too. The screen not switched on right now, but will be very similar to the Nexon screen in terms of operationally what we will see on it. Nice use of color. The exterior color comes into the AC vents. Again, you've seen that on the Tiago the first time. You see an extension of that here as well. This is of course a 5-speed manual, though we do expect automatics to show up on this car as well. Steering mounted controls, half screen, half analog. I don't know how much of that you can see. Alright, let me try another angle. Alright, that's the best I can do, I guess. And pretty decent on space, I have to say. Good amount of headroom and decent amount of legroom, certainly in line with the class of vehicles. Like I said, it's a competitor to the Baleno and the i20 from an Indian standpoint. So getting into the back now, and all right, let me try and flip it around. Okay, hi everyone. As you can see, I am now in the back seat of the Altroz. Great amount of headroom, and yeah, you're not probably getting the best shot here, but a decent amount of legroom as well. And flip it back. Yeah, really dark in here, but also have rear AC vents for the back seat. Drop down armrest. Again, a little dark, I know, and decent sense of space, reasonably comfortable seats, and a 350 odd liter boot in the back. So that's your first look at the Altroz as well. So excitement, because 1 European debut and 4 world premieres from Tata Motors, and most of this is exactly what's hitting production. So that's the encouraging part. I again see lots of you messaging, and thank you for your messages. We'll try and get you some answers. I'm unable to read most of that right now, it's too bright. But a quick walk around then of the Tata Motors stand once again. We saw the Altroz. That's the Altroz EV, also coming to the market. Yes, this is a production car, so you can see it's got a slightly different appeal in terms of the interior. And there, this. Alright, that virtual screen was very much on, so you could see a little bit of it. Alright, and there you get a sense of the space as well. Lots of crowd, and it's good to see that kind of response and interest in the Indian brand here at Geneva. Tata Motors since last year has moved to a much bigger pavilion than it used to have, and there you can really see the rear of that 7-seater, about how much bigger the car is than the Harrier. So that's the Harrier, or the Buzzard, and there you see it's a lot more vertical looking at the back now, with a very different D-pillar on the larger SUV. So that's the difference. Altroz, Buzzard, though it will be called something else, and the Altroz EV are the launches to the market this year. And then this car, the H2X, will be made into a production version which will look a lot like this, we are told, which of course comes to the market next year. So expect a debut at the Auto Expo is what we've been told, and then the market launch later in the year. And oh, one last thing which I have to show you. The door handles on the Altroz at the back are a bit like the Swifts. Yeah, up there. So that's something I'd forgotten to show you earlier. And with that, I am going to say thank you for watching, and goodbye. Please wear your seatbelts. More from Geneva, more from Tata Motors. All the details on carandbike.com. In case you missed anything here, all the pictures also very much on carandbike.com. Thank you for watching.